Join me and my cousin Jana on a ride on the USS Badger, a historic ferry that crosses Lake Michigan daily. And this ferry just sails one route from Ludington, Michigan to Manitowoc, Wisconsin. We've opted to ride this ferry to visit our cousins in Wisconsin and skip driving through the often gridlocked Chicago traffic. And believe it or not, this is the last coal-fired passenger ship in the entire United States. And it's even been named a National Historic Landmark. Now you might be wondering, coal-powered? Yes, it is. U.S. Badger still burns coal, which of course sparked a lot of debate, for the environment and everything else, but it's been ruled historic. It operates under special EPA, Environmental Protection Authority exemption. And over the years, they've added ash containment and emission controls. So yes, it's not a green machine, but it is a piece of living history. And now, I'm on it. And the USS Badger? It's a living legend. 410 feet long, coal-fired, and still carrying passengers and vehicles across Lake Michigan since 1953, just 2 years before I was born. I mean, this ship is really amazing. It is like a floating museum. Now, the USS Badger was originally designed to carry rail cars across Lake Michigan, giving freight trains a shortcut during the icy Midwest winters. And it was part of a larger fleet. But today, she's the only one still left in operation. Here's the USS Spartan, also in the harbor, but sadly, it has not been renovated. So we have arrived in Ludington, Michigan, which is a charming harbor town with a rich maritime history. And we're getting ready to board the vessel. Now, there's always a long line of cars to board the ferry, and you must be in line at least a half hour before sailing. I was surprised. Drug-sniffing dogs that inspect vehicles. That certainly never happened when I was a kid. Now, the USS Badger can carry up to 600 passengers and 180 vehicles, and including everything from motorcycles and RVs to semis and trailers. Even tour buses ride the ferry. We met ladies from this Riley's tour bus on the boat and discovered they were traveling from South Dakota. Now, we left our Jeep with the attendant who would drive it on the ship, and we walked to the boarding area. Oh, what does it cost? It was $270.30 for a one-way trip for my cousin and I and my Grand Cherokee Jeep. Sail away was smooth. People strolling the boardwalk waved at us as we left the port. It was really quite scenic. Safety. Funny, after taking cruises, I almost expected a muster drill, but there was nothing of the sort. In fact, we only located life preservers as we were disembarking. There are lifeboats and this easy to spot rescue boat. Now, passengers all quickly claimed their spot. There were lounge chairs at the bow, but it was very, very windy there. There went my hair. We settled sitting outside on the stern of the ship. Less wind and great views. I went to the other side of the boat. There went my hair. It is really windy. Really windy. But there is also plenty of indoor space to sit and relax. Even though the temps were in the 80s on shore, it can still get a little chilly in the middle of Lake Michigan. So I urge you bring a coat or sweatshirt. Of course, if you forget, you can always buy one in the ship's boutique. So what do you do on board for 4 hours? Well, you can grab a coffee, beer, or even an alcoholic drink at the portside bar, a quick bite to eat or a sit-down dinner, or play the always popular Badger Bingo. It's free, all ages can play, and winners get a candy bar or soda. You could also watch a family movie in the ship's movie theater, and there's a video game room and a children's play area too. And be sure to check out the museum room, with pictures and artifacts highlighting the USS Badger's long maritime history. And you can shop for souvenirs in the boutique gift shop. You can even rent a private room if you wish. Now, my favorite activity? Just sitting back on the deck and watching the water roll by. So it's only 16 miles across Lake Michigan. It takes about 4 hours on this vessel. And it can be very relaxing and yes, a little breezy ride on Lake Michigan. Just look at the view. Isn't it beautiful? No land in sight. Can you see behind me? Yep, all you're gonna see is water. Lake Michigan is huge. I mean, Lake Michigan is absolutely massive. It encompasses approximately 22,400 square miles. It is over 300 miles long, 118 miles in width, and deep enough to cover the entire state of Michigan in more than 100 feet water. I mean, that's deep. And it has over 1,400 miles of shoreline. So the depth, it averages 279 feet depth. And when storms hit, believe me, it can really churn up the waves like an ocean, 10 to 20 feet tall. And it's not just big, it's unpredictable. Yeah, there's an estimated 1,500 shipwrecks here, most of them from the 1800s. Well, those 4 hours went quickly, and soon we were pulling into Manitowoc, Wisconsin. It was a smooth ride, a little piece of history, and a shortcut across one of America's greatest lakes. As we approached the city of Manitowoc, scores of birds greeted us. And disembarking, it was easy. We waited in the sidelines until we saw our car driven off the ship. Keys were in the car, and we were off. We made a short detour and visited the city's sand sculpting festival near the port before we journeyed on to Sheboygan to see our cousins. And of course, my cousin had to test the water. Sure, you can drive around Lake Michigan, but where's the fun in that? Crossing on the USS Badger reminds us that travel isn't always about speed, it's about the journey. So if you enjoyed coming along for the ride, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps others discover this slice of Great Lakes history. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more travel adventures from offbeat roads to hidden gems. And hey, if you've ever ridden the USS Badger or the USS Spartan or want to, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. And if you're more interested in traditional cruises, watch this.